Oh my God. Hello, everyone. I am back after a long. I'm not even gonna say that anymore because I'm not really taking breaks, you guys. Breathe with me real quick. Let's. I'm not really gonna be explaining me taking breaks or anything like that because I'm clinically depressed. I got fibromyalgia, and I tend to shy away from talking about those things. And this video is not gonna be about that. This video is gonna be about something else. But in lieu of me talking about those things, I'm not gonna be having myself on a schedule because I just don't feel like that's true to me. I don't feel like I could wake up every day of the week and like think of something to talk about. Like a bitch is on the spectrum. Don't you go in that drawer. I got cats, y'all. I have 2 cats. I don't know if I had 2 cats in my last video, but now I have 2. So if you hear me yelling and screaming as per usual, it's because they is both bad. But yeah, I'm not gonna be on a schedule. Like I'm gonna upload when I upload, and if you fuck with me, you're gonna watch me, and you're gonna watch when it comes up, and you're not gonna expect me to produce and perform for you. This is matcha, extra strong with brown sugar. So I'm not gonna fucking cry. So today I'm going to be doing my makeup, smoking a little weed, drinking a little matcha, and I'm going to be talking about. It's gonna be a big one, y'all. I'm gonna be talking about unpacking childhood trauma during the holidays. As per usual, I do not edit my videos. I do not know how to. I don't have a laptop. So it's gonna be kind of ghetto, but the best things in life are kind of ghetto. So, yeah, that's what we're gonna be talking about, and it's gonna get a little emotional. It's gonna get a little deep, but I feel like a lot of people who are dealing with very deep issues, not even just with parents, but with family, with loss, with like deep poverty around this time, is there's a lot of unpacking that goes on, whether it be through trying to escape this trauma, trying to heal from it. Go you if you are, go you at any point in your journey with trauma because it's hard. Just people are just trying to do all types of things to like alleviate or get through it. And I felt like I was like, I want to make a video. I want to put something out. But I don't want to put something out that I feel like is just so scripted and just isn't real. Like I feel like I hate fucking talking about shit that isn't true to me. And I feel like I'm really reaching like this place in my life where I'm like starting to feel like I'm doing what I want to do again. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I hope you guys are excited. I hope you guys are ready. I really, really missed being in front of the camera. I've been anxious. I feel like I'll be seeing my boyfriend after a long time when I film and I get a little horny. I'm just kidding. So let's start. I'm gonna start with my makeup first. And I don't really know what I'm gonna do today. I just know that it's gonna be cute. So let me go behind y'all, checking if it's still filming. when you film it on your iPhone, y'all know how it is. So I'm gonna prime my face first. I guess I'll say some of the products because I know y'all are watching for that. The look that I'm going for today is very like winter is cloudy, but I'm a hoe. So like furry hat, furry scarf, faux fur always, pleather jacket, like I'm cozy, and I look at you and it's like, oh, sexual, you know? That's what I want to give. So today, the first thing I always do when I do my makeup is I prime my face. One of my favorite primers that you can get at the drugstore are the Elf primers. They're so bomb. I like to use the poreless one and the shimmer one, but I feel like as I've gotten older, you know, your young looking girl is 31. As I've gotten older, um, just glittery shit does not look good on me. Like in mass amount, I'm always gonna love glitter, but I feel like I'm just not that I'm living for the matte look because I never am. I'm always trying to look dewy. I'm always trying to look like I drink water and don't have a man stressing me out. Let me take this Chucky sweater off. Ah, ah. Okay, so yeah, the Alzheimer's are pretty good, but starting our topic, so right now we're in the middle of the holidays. Thanksgiving just passed. I don't celebrate that. And we're about to pull up on Christmas, like any motherfucking day now, you know? And for me, growing up, in my early years, I'm not gonna lie, um, the holidays were pretty lit, you know? Before I was aware of like what was really going on in my childhood, the holidays were like, they were fun. I grew up with a single father. I grew up with a single father, and it was just me and him. And my mom lived in Miami, and she would send me presents. So like whatever my dad wouldn't agree to get me, I would ask my mom. And whatever like my mom wouldn't get me, I would ask my dad for. So usually for my mom, it would be like something electronic, and like most cases it was like Pokemon, and then like my dad, I would ask him for like a book or a Pokemon game, as opposed to like the entire system where my mom would ask her for the whole system. My dad maybe bought me, I think my dad bought me an N64, but I think like my mom's husband, because she didn't have no money, my mom's husband was the main benefactor of my game stuff. But for the most part, in my early childhood, damn, where is my concealer? The most part from my early childhood, oh, it's in my fucking purse. Whatever. For the most part from my early childhood, I'm not gonna use concealer today. Today we're gonna be ghetto with the eye look. For the most part, when I was younger, holidays were cool, but it's as I got older, it wasn't necessarily that the holidays started getting bad, that I started really not even using it, but they just became a time where I was unpacking. But it happened when I was older, and like more so at like, I want to say like 16 years old. 16 is when I really started feeling the weight of the holidays and what that means for me individually and on a personal level. I'm gonna use the Stila Shimmer and Glow Liquid Eyeshadow in Jezebel. Isn't that ironic? In Jezebel, and I'm gonna use that as a base because I can't find my concealer. And I honestly don't want to take forever on eyeshadow. Raise your hand if you finally reach that point in your existence where you're bored of taking 80 years on eyeshadow, because I am there. So, as I got older, I started becoming more isolated. I started coming into my transness a lot more. I got out, I was in the military, and that was a huge thing on the holidays because even if I went home for leave, I would go home and realize how different I was. Like, that's like a really big thing that like is one of the biggest roots in like me going through my trauma around the holidays is like my difference as an individual, because I feel like trans people especially, you know, everyone like, you know, we talk about it all the time. People talk about like being allies, people talk about like being there for the community, but when it comes to like having us in intimate spaces and actually like championing us and our existence, like that doesn't really happen. And around the holidays, at least for me, when I was coming into my identity, part of the reason why I was alone was because of my transness and because of the fact that I was homeless at the time, or you know, I'm on the spectrum, I'm a little different, like, or you know, disabilities, like people with disabilities, I feel like, you know, I don't know people who are on different spectrums of disability or have different disabilities than me, but I do know that people with disabilities have a hard time gaining access and going to places and also just being in public spaces, and that a lot of people don't cater to that. So as I got older, I started realizing and started feeling like don't nobody give a fuck about me, because in the military, like the only person who really would call me on the holidays was my aunt on my dad's side. Shout out to Auntie Charlene if you're watching it. I know she watches my videos sometimes. She's lit. She would call me, and then, you know, like other than that, like I kind of felt like maybe it was a projection on my part, but whenever the holidays come around, I look back on these moments like the Navy and then even after in college and when I was homeless, and I kind of felt like being who I am in my family and where I was in life, I kind of felt like it was like, you know, like that bitch is out of the way, like we don't got to worry about her. And it was rough. Like I feel like I don't know, like shout out to you if you're the black sheep in your family and you start like hyper analyzing how you may be viewed around them. Like I don't know why the holidays does this to me, but I've always done it ever since like I started adulthood. And you know, like I think like being trans is hard. Yes, I love being who I am, but I think like the biggest roots of trauma around the holidays are just from like realizing that like I'm not being thought about as much as I may be thinking about other people. And I really want to touch on this, you know, and this video is like really for the people who are really, really struggling with the relationship with their parents. Like, whether it be positive, whether it be negative, whether you're in a bumpy patch, whether you're in a good patch, you know, like what if you're just having like a day thing and you happen to come on this video, but this video is for like people who like are having difficulty with their parental relationships, because let me tell you, one thing I think about on the holidays, look how nice that looks when you blend it out, y'all. I love these eyeshadows. They're literally like your best friend if you want like quick application and you just want to throw some shit on. These are your girls. So the next thing I'm gonna go in with is the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Jackie Aina palette. They don't sell it anymore. It's bomb. It was a gift. It's bomb. I'm so happy that I have it. I'm gonna go in with Credit. It's like a brown. So if you have a brown that's like a good brown, you can use that. And I'm gonna put that on the outer corners. Around the holidays, I think about my motherfucking parents, because growing up, you know, they were the ones who brought me the most joy on the holidays. But growing up, they were also the ones who brought me like the most pain. And it's like I've always had this like contradictory relationship with my parents. And I've just never really been able to like put my finger on it, because I feel like I've constantly trying to see my parents in the best light. And I think one of the biggest challenges for people in general is like seeing people for who they are, accepting for people for who they are. Like expectations of any form, whether they be subconscious or conscious, will fuck your ass up when it comes to formulating relationships with people. Because so like I guess so like for me not being real with myself about what I was seeing with my relationships with my parents, I think I costed myself a lot of like, you know, accepting them for who they are, and I costed myself a lot, what would I say, a lot more heartbreak, because, you know, I had this idea that my parents should be like uber accepting of me. You know, like everybody wants accepting parents. Like, bitch, every trans person wants accepting parents. At least for me, and at least the people I know, like it would be really lit to have accepting parents. And I have never really had that. Like growing up, my dad is a very macho person, and you know, I wanted to do dance. I wanted to just do all of these things. I've always been a very expressively flamboyant person, and flamboyant doesn't fucking mean gay. It means like very expressive, very large, very loud, and it's like it also means someone with a lot of talent and taste within that area. And you know, like it was always shut down. And I feel like when you have someone who's people who are providing for you, but at the same time gatekeeping so much happiness from you, it creates this like really weird dependency and expectation in you. And like for me, for a long time, I feel like I really expected my parents to support me in some way, to you know, support me in some way like that was like emotional and like real, like that wasn't like financial. And I like, I know it sounds fucked, but it's like I didn't grow up poor. My dad had like good jobs like growing up, and I'm not scared to talk about that. I feel like you have to acknowledge your privilege before you can have conversations with large masses of people, because how can you talk about relatability if you've never like had your lights turned off, you know what I mean? So like my dad had money, but like I never saw the dude. Like, and if I did, like he was always focused on like me being better in school, me performing better, like just very masculine energy, you know? And it did help me become a more like a more driven individual, but I really craved love growing up. And during the holidays, like, you know, I think about that. And I wanted to make this video because I did something that I've never done. And I'm really trying to, this video is going to be kind of everywhere. I don't know if it is, I don't know if it isn't. I really don't care. Again, I'm just trying to share my thoughts, but I'm really trying to like not block my blessings anymore, which is why I just got up and started doing this video. And like part of that is being real about how people care about me in their life, and that's why I talked about expectations, because I've always had this expectation for like my dad to be loving and supportive and like awesome and caring and like really deep and like giving. And like, yes, my dad provided me a roof over my head growing up. Yes, he made sure I never went hungry. Yes, he made sure I was safe. You know, but there were other things. I'm not going to go into detail because this isn't like a berail my father case. This is about me. But there were other things that I just carried with me that have really affected me. And I've always been like, you know, like my dad's, because of this in his past, it's this way and this, that, and the third. Instead of just being like, you know, this is who he is. And this past, like this Thanksgiving that just passed, we had like kind of like a disagreement on something, and he was honest with me about his feelings, but he was honest with me about his feelings in a way that was just completely like it wasn't really being honest. It felt like more like trying to hurt me. And I reached out to like my sister. I reached out to like, you know, everyone around me, like people who are like, because I can be a little emotional. So I reached out to people who were level headed, and I was like, like, is this fucked up? And they were like, yeah. So I ended up basically, um, like, kind of like cutting my dad off. And like, that's hard, not just because he helps me out financially sometimes, but because I love my father. And I think that, like, one of the biggest things about self love and about blocking your blessings is like, genuinely, you can love something, but like, if it's not good for you or if it's not aligned with who you are, who you're supposed to be, you're only hurting yourself and hurting like that something else, or just probably annoying it by trying to hold on to something that well. And it got to a point where I felt like I was just annoying my dad more than I've always felt like I have. It felt like I wasn't bringing him any happiness ever. And it just felt like he didn't want to talk to me. So I kind of just like maturely as an adult created that space. And I feel really good. And I feel liberated. And these past few months, I think I've cut off, I've not cut off, I don't want to use that word, but like, I've just stopped connection with a lot of ideas and people and places and patterns and ways of viewing myself, just a lot of shit. Because, I really want to be happy. Like, I really don't want every time the holidays to come around for it to be such a bitter thing for me, even if I don't celebrate all of them. Like, I would like to create my own version of Christmas or my own version of Thanksgiving or whatever the fuck it is. I want to have more joy in my life. And I think that's why unpacking your trauma at any point is good. Unpacking your trauma is great. Looking at expectations is great. I've tried to do a lot of looking at your own expectations is great. I've tried to do a lot of forgiveness and just letting the fuck go. Cause Lord, let me tell you, y'all, I'm looking for another palette. There it is. Hold on, you guys. If you see my bed behind me, don't judge me, because it's not your place to fucking judge. And I'm gonna do what I want. Okay, so I can't find my palette. There it is! All the way in the back. Okay. So yeah, I lost my train of thought, y'all, because of the caffeine. And the weed. Unpacking your shit is good. It's good for you. I used to really shy away from it. I used to really shy away from talking about trauma. Like, one of my, like, I realized, I'm a very, I sometimes I can be a very confusing person to people. And I realized that part of that is because the way I act can be very erratic, but it's because I don't really be sharing with people about why I may act that way. But I also, like, don't really have the words, and I haven't really thought about why I act that way myself. Like, I think that people who are autistic or people who are living with disabilities, like, no matter like how intense they are, or whether it's physical or mental, or people who, I'm just going in with the black now in the corners, or people who just are like, othered, how hard of a time we get at being cut some fucking slack. Like, I feel like people who are around us will, like, get resentful that they have to exercise so much different care. I don't even want to say so much care, but just that they have to exercise different care. And I just feel like they become resentful towards people who are othered. And I'm like, it's so fucked up, because it's like, a lot of the times, people like me or people who I know can relate to my experiences really just want peace and acceptance and understanding. And a lot of the times we're met with like this opposition of, you expect this and this is what you want and you're not trying hard enough. And it's like, but you don't even really know like what I'm dealing with on the daily. And then it's like, other times I feel like I can't even, with me, sometimes I can't even talk about what I'm dealing with, because I feel like when I do talk about it, people feel so bad and they're not used to feeling bad, that they end up feeling like I'm trying to make them feel bad instead of being like, wow, this is just something really fucked up that she's telling me, and she probably just needs to be held in this moment. You know? This past month has been like really crazy for me, y'all. It's like, I think unpacking childhood trauma has been like, literally has been one of the biggest things for me because I've really been looking at how the things I experienced in my childhood have affected me, like growing up. And like, you know, like we all talk about that, like your inner child, da 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 da. But are you really, like, genuinely really thinking about what happened to you and how it affected you? Move back for y'all. You know, I don't feel like, for me personally, I wasn't really doing that. I wasn't really doing that. I was trying to, but I think sometimes, especially for people who experience deep, intense trauma, like, I'm not talking about if your parents hit you with the bell. Like, I'm not talking about, like, if, you know, your mom was a weekend alcoholic and called you a bitch a few times. I'm talking about, like, intense trauma. People who experience that, like, it's isolating and you don't, like, you just don't feel normal. And I feel like looking at, like, the things that may have caused you the trauma and being real, being like, this was abuse, this was this was that, this was A B C D F G, like, the it's important because, like, you know, like, it's not good to walk around feeling crazy, like you did something wrong. Hold on, y'all. Nayeli! Oh, never mind. Never mind. It's my cat, you guys. I have a kitty. I need to let him inside. Come on, baby. Don't be jumping up on my shit, okay? So yeah, like, I feel like it's important to unpack that stuff, because when you don't unpack it and you don't look at it, you're gonna go around in this circle of feeling crazy, of feeling like everything is your fault, and it's really, really not. Um, I feel like childhood trauma stops you from. Oh my god, you guys wanna see my cat? Hold on. This is Cleo. Say hi, Poppy. He's my sweet baby. He's the opposite. He don't like me. He fake. But yeah, that's my cat. But I feel like childhood, like, not unpacking your trauma, not, like, looking at it, like, it just affects you, like, long term, and, like, we talk about it but we don't look at it. And it's like, lately for me, I've just been looking at, like, how much it stopped me from, like, experiencing joy. I'm someone who loves to fall in love but also loves to, like, run away from it. All my BPG people out there, raise your hands in the air. And I'm going back in with the same brown and blending the black out. So yeah, I love to fall in love. I also love to run away from it. I also used to really love dumping my trauma onto people who I was in love with, y'all. Like, when I tell you that I was the queen of doing that, I was the queen. And I never, like, I'm telling y'all, like, this past month has been transformational for me. I really started looking at, like, how my relationships now, or how relationships that I may have lost, were affected by what I went through as a child. And a lot of them, it really gave me clarity to genuinely be like, fuck that bitch. But for other ones, I was like, you know what, I don't even want to feel that way. Like, I just want to, like, move on, because this isn't me that's hurt. This is, like, little me. You know what I mean? Like, this is childhood me. And I just, you know, I really have been trying to work on that. And recently, someone who I was, like, in love with, y'all, like, acting crazy in these streets, acting crazy in these streets. Every time I drink it, it's like, you know what? And they hit me back up recently to like apologize and like make amends and be like, you know, I really fuck with you as a human being and like I just want you in my life. And when I tell y'all, I never thought I would hear these words from this person. I genuinely mean I never thought I would hear these words from this person. And get the fuck out of my drawer. And I started thinking about how like, cause you know I forgave the person and then we ended up having an even more evolved conversation around like my own feelings and like just like shit that I've never told this person. And I just started thinking like, dude, like imagine if you were more healed a few years ago and when y'all talked before, you could have reconciled this before. But I was like too scared. And it's just like it's not that I regret doing that, but it's just like I'm looking back on all the shit that is happening around me that you know was causing me more pain than it should have. And I think like that's like one of the biggest things about unpacking and like self-awareness. Another one of the biggest things is like, bitch, you're causing yourself like pain. Like you're hurting yourself, you're letting yourself down. You're not really like you're not being your biggest supporter. Like when you're friends with someone and like you're somebody's homegirl, when you see her like doing a lot of lines of coke at the party or she's about to hit the meth pipe, you're like, girl, too far. It's a joke. But you know what I mean? Like when you see something evidently like, you know, spinning out of control in your friend's life, like the good thing to do with as a friend is to be like, hey, are you all right? When you see stuff spinning out of control in your life, you don't just fucking hop on the fucking Ferris wheel, fucking ride the spiral train. Like, you really gotta look at, like, bitch, what the fuck is making me spin so fast? And like, for like this past year, no, I don't want to use that color. Okay, and now I'm going into a ColourPop palette, and I'm gonna do like this khaki brown. And I'm gonna blend everything out so it's just like giving more airbrush instead of this blockiness on the end. Ooh. So yeah, this past year, y'all, I was spinning out of control, like, and I feel like I didn't get a lot of understanding about that, like, and I really got to learn that people can only understand what they have the capacity for or what they want to understand, and it's, you know, you really can't do nothing else about it. Like if people don't want to get you, like, and this even, I don't mean this in a negative way, I mean this in a like, people are literally trying to do a bunch of other things, and if they don't want to get you, that's cool, like, but it's your choice and your process on how you are looking at these people still. Like I was looking at people who wanted to be in my life and wanted to give me what I deserved and wanted to bring me joy as like evil and this and that and this, and I was hard blocking them. And this is last year. And the people who really were shitting on me, you know, people who weren't exercising me understanding and I was living with them, people who were watching me be antagonized and were saying that like it was because of my demeanor that it was happening, people who were gaslighting and shaming me, I was keeping them so close when I should have just like loosened up the reins on our friendships and let them just run away early on and just really been like, hey, who do I feel like is trying to like really be in my life and who do I feel like really deserves like a chance, you know? And like I really want to be somebody who is exercising like kindness and love and forgiveness. And I don't want to be holding grudges. Like that shit is ugly. Like look, bitches have traumatized me, like from my parents to everyone. And like for me, it's like My trauma is mine to deal with, but I don't want to be holding grudges against nobody anymore. Like, I really, really don't. I want to genuinely accept people as they are, and if it's harmful to me, I just remove myself. I'm not obligated to anyone. Nobody's obligated to me. So like, what's the point of like staying in some shit that causing you so much stress? Like, it doesn't have to be negative. It can just be like, this isn't for me right now. This isn't for us right now. This isn't for you. This isn't for this, and this isn't for that. You know what I mean? And it took me a long time. I'm working through those levels of codependence. But like, if you're starting this process, because I feel like it's lifelong. I'm not saying I'm further than anyone. I'm just saying I'm working on it. I don't ever want anyone to make anyone feel like I'm being like, oh, I'm so high and mighty, because I'm not. I'm just that bitch. But if you're like, in your process too, like, remind yourself that like you're healing, like you're learning, like you're a student. Like, that's like the basis of healing, is that you're a student, you're always a student, and you're learning, and like that's what makes what you're doing bomb. Like, that's what makes what you're doing like good and fruitful, and why you should have faith. So we're gonna take a smoke break, you guys. I'm gonna get a joint, light it. I'm gonna keep talking. We can just talk about some other things that have been going on in my life while I continue this subject. So, another reason why I wanted to talk about blessing blocking is because, as a lot of you know, and obviously so, I love beauty. I love makeup. I love beauty. I love skincare. Let me see if this is still filming, y'all. This is so ghetto. So, I love makeup. I love all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Watch me not finish my face. I love all that shit. And, for a long time, I have struggled with homelessness, with just not having a lot of money, etc. And I've always been trying to do things to help me make money, from survival sex work to phone call centers, bitch. Coffee shops. I was a barista for so many years, helping people run their businesses, and it just wasn't working for me. Like, I always felt like, I'm like, none of this is working for me. I couldn't hold anything long term, and I'm a great employee. Like, don't get me wrong. But I've always been good at makeup. I've been doing makeup since I was 22 years old, and when I first started at like 22, I was doing it every single day, every day. Like, if you go to my early YouTube videos, you'll see it. But I never ever wanted to go to beauty school, and I never wanted to make money off of it. And I always told myself it was because, oh, I didn't want to be commodifiable, or I didn't want to be bought. But now I'm trying to be bought, because the bitch got bills. But looking back now, during this holiday childhood trauma unpacking, I realized that it wasn't that I didn't want to be commodifiable. It was like, at the end of the day, a part of me still felt ashamed of wearing makeup. A little part of me when I was younger, like, y'all, I've always loved makeup. Like, I remember the first time I saw a bitch do a smoking eye on YouTube, I was like, ah, like I just love that you can change like your allure and your energy and make yourself like a different bitch when you know how to do makeup. So I've always been so passionate, but every time I try to dabble in it, like, I got so berated and so like just shamed, like, especially growing up as a black boy. I was growing up as a black boy. Like, I was expected to just be this macho ass bitch, and it just was not in me. Like, I've always been girly. I've always been very feminine. I've been strong, smart, and an individual, which are not always seen as feminine qualities to a lot of other femmes. We can talk about that in another video. But I've always been that. And I just got like fucked with and like abused, like shitted on hard for like wanting to be beautiful, you know? And I realized I was like, damn, like this wasn't even just this past month. This was like this past like last 6 months. I was like, damn, like I'm really not like fucking with myself how I should. Like one of like somebody who like a friend, okay, I'm gonna call him a friend. Someone who I be, he my friend. Was like, oh, like you're really not doing your thing. Like you're so talented. Like you shouldn't be struggling. And it's like, as trans people, like, yes, we do have a harder time gaining access, but it's like that doesn't mean that we're inept, stupid, slow, or talentless, or less deserving. For me specifically, I think I had a really hard time working through having being like newly labeled as disabled, and a bunch of other stuff, and then also like having confidence, like for what the field that makeup, beauty, fashion, all of these fields, you gotta be a confident ass bitch. And like, yes, I'm confident to an extent, but I have not always been, and I had to really learn. And a lot of it is masking. At my core, if you ask anyone who really knows me, I'm very shy. Like being loud doesn't always mean confident. It just means a bitch is loud and ghetto. Like, but I've always been very shy at my core. I've always had issues with just having faith in myself. I'm really, really working on that, like in all forms, because I want to be that example for myself. And I started looking back the past 6 months, and I'm like, bitch, you were just scared. So I decided that I'm gonna go to beauty school. Oh my god, yeah, I know, get excited. I'm gonna be going to Paul Mitchell, and like I just feel like even if I am trans, like there's no reason why I shouldn't have access and like funds and all these things. Even if I am disabled, like there's no reason why I shouldn't have money to give to other disabled people who have less access than me, because that's what I think about doing. Ooh, I'm smoking white runs, y'all. And it took me a really, really long time. Everyone, some people probably like, why didn't you go to beauty school a long time ago? Because I genuinely was blocking my blessing. I was letting fear and what people would say of me and like what people would think of me and whether or not I was gonna make money, like just stop me from even trying it. And it's like that is like my biggest message. Like I think that's gonna be my biggest message of this video today is like, don't block your blessing. Like if you like something, fucking do it. Like really do it. Like I don't mean get on Instagram. I don't mean like get on Instagram and upload pictures to fucking validate the existence of your work to a bunch of people, but I mean learn about it, read about it, join a forum, find a friend who's really, really focused in your friend group, who is really passionate about their shit, who's open to ideas, and be like, hey, can you like help keep me accountable? And also just, pep me up a little bit. Like, can you give me some more motivation? Because I need that. You should be able to ask your friends for that. And, really start, you don't even have to be on that like cliche, like immerse yourself in it. Like, whatever it is, just give it some importance. I'm gonna start on foundation. Y'all, I'm so high. This shit may come out crazy. And it may not, okay? But the more I smoke, the more experimental I get. I'm looking for my foundation, y'all. Okay, here it is. So yeah, the more I smoke, the more... Oh! Oh my god. What the fuck? Okay. So, yeah, like, for me it was makeup, and like, I could have been doing makeup. I probably could have like had a fucking house by now with how much makeup I was doing, but I was always like, I'm not enough. I'm not enough of this. I haven't done enough of that. I haven't done enough of this. With YouTube, I was like, I could have been doing videos a long time ago, but I got in my head and I was like, I'm not good enough at makeup. Like, I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. I don't have that. And it was always just that I don't have, like, it's not here. And it's just like that what is and was my childhood trauma. Not being enough, like not being able to perform, like not being what people expect me to be. And that shit is fucked up, y'all. Like, I think that, like, as human beings, you really gotta just work on, like, not performing. Um, Another thing that comes up real big in my childhood trauma unpacking is my gender, obviously. I never grew up like, look, genuinely real shit, you guys. I never grew up thinking that I was born a boy who was a girl. Like, in genuine realness, from a really early age, it sounds crazy, but I had this, I just always felt like I was a girl. Like, I used to fantasize about being saved by boys who I had crushes on as a girl. Like, I even fantasized about being a girl with other girls, like girl bodied, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've always felt like that, and I never really heard the word transgender, transsexual, like the slang tranny, or a word that only we use. I never really heard like those words until I was like 25. I grew up in a Jehovah Witness family, so not even though everyone in the family isn't like devout Jehovah Witnesses, like just like there's just certain things that like weren't dinner table or even like passed by discussions. And the foundation I'm using, you guys, is, because I know people want to know, I'm using the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation, High Coverage Faux Filter Foundation, Cream Foundation, and Cinnamon, which is 44G. And I match it to my body, not my neck and not my face. I match it to like the highest point of my shoulders. It's probably a little dark right now, but once it settles in and I do concealer and everything like that, it looks so beautiful. If you like full coverage, but you like it to not look like you stuck your face into like powder, into like, I don't know, 3,000 pounds of foundation, this foundation is bomb. You just have to apply it well. So yeah, I never grew up feeling like I was othered or I was different. And then as I got older, because you know, with age comes all the demons. As I got older, I started feeling like other. Like, people started calling me gay, and like, I originally was only attracted to girls. Like, not sexually, because I don't think I've ever really been like a very sexual person. Ironically, we can talk about that in another video too. I don't think I've always been a very sexual person, but I think that it was always pushed on me in many, many ways. If you're a trauma kid, you can probably put together what I'm saying. Yeah, I feel like it was pushed on me. Like, people were like, oh, you're gay because you sound like this. And I was like, what if I just sounded very feminine? You know, because that exists. Like, there are just people who sound feminine who are flamboyant, who are not gay, and who do not identify as gay. Like, my first dating experience was with a girl. And I'm not saying that that made me not queer, but I'm saying that I ended up just like not really losing my interest, but just kind of like I was kind of pushed into, I feel like, really liking men. Like, I don't know why. Like, I think it's because I'm pretty or something. Ding. But I just have always, that's always just been like a theme for me, like growing up. And Now I'm gonna do my cream bronzer slash contour, and I use the it's from Ritual Defile, and it's the Ethereal Veil in Stylene. It looks like this, super cute. It looks like wash of shadow and warmth. So beautiful. But I just I was pushing the liking men, and being the person I am, I like anyone. So I did like men, and it also felt more comfortable for me because with my identity that people were labeling me as, I just didn't feel like I meshed well with dating girls. Like I wasn't manly, I wasn't this, I was constantly told all these things. So like I was just so pushed for so many things, but I was never pushed to be like, hey, maybe you're this, maybe you're that, because the people around me didn't have the tools to understand what I was, and they also didn't have the tools to understand like what I was becoming. And around the holidays, like like I don't think it's something that everybody thinks about, but it's like I think about like honestly, I think about like wanting to have a relationship and like a family, and wanting to like come home to somebody, you know what I mean? Like I hate being vulnerable in this way, but that's what like I think about. And I think about like, and I hate thinking this way because I'm a huge advocate for like just like being trans and like being proud and like not regretting that. And I think about how like what if like I was like a cis girl, and like like would my life be like so different? Like would I have kids by now? Like would I be married? I know it's wrong to like compare myself, but like in those moments of unpacking and being vulnerable with yourself, like I feel like for me at least I have moments of vulnerability, and I have moments of ooh, this shit is so pretty, y'all. You see how soft it looks? It probably doesn't look soft for y'all, but for me, I'm like, wow, it's so soft. Like, I have moments of vulnerability, and sometimes I just think about that kind of stuff because, like, if your girl did have titties, was born with titties and a coochie, like, my life would be easier. Like, it's just the truth. And I think about that, and I just think about, I start going down this spiral of like, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if, and then I realize that that in turn is also blocking my blessing, and that in turn is blocking me like meeting like what is out there for me, because there are a lot of men and a lot of women and a lot of people out and in the open who appreciate trans identities, whether it's, and it's not just sexually, like it's emotionally, it's just for like who you are as a person. Like there are people who appreciate people, and I feel like if me personally, if I focus so much time on, oh, I'm not on hormones yet, or oh, I don't want surgery, or I feel like other trans girls aren't accepting me because I'm not fish enough, like, or I'm not cunt enough, or like I don't act like them, like all that stuff doesn't matter, like I gotta be me, authentically me. I have to be real to my gender, to who that is, which is a non binary trans woman. And people always stress that out. And I'm just like, bitch, I'm allowed to be who I wanna be. And I feel like what I say I am really fits who I am and like my process. And, like, I think that just like being myself and like really the same way learning about your craft, and the same way like diving into your trauma, but really diving into my identity, I feel like it, like really diving into that, being like, who is Elle, like, and like not in a cliche way, but like what makes me feel good, like what makes me feel bad, like what is triggering me, like what is there's like little hairs from this brush that I need to wash all over my face, and it's pissing me off. Like, who is that bitch? And like taking the time to do that has really given me a lot of confidence in my gender, and to like really decide like, hey, I think I'm ready to start hormone therapy now. And I don't think I'm thinking about any surgery in the future. And like that's cool. I'm not hating on anyone who gets it. I love all the girls and all the people who get surgery. I think it's cute as fuck. Like I feel like if you're shaming somebody who's paying to make themselves feel better, paying so much money and like having near death experiences, then you're really mean. Like, bitches do makeup, bitches do surgery. Like the girls that get it, the girls get it, and the girls that don't. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I don't want to. Like, I just have a different image for my body and how I want to look, and like that's okay. Thinking about that is, oh, what if people don't like it, and like, what if it's scary, and what if it's different? Thinking about that kind of stuff. This matcha got me focused, y'all. Okay, so for my concealer, I'm gonna use the same foundation, Huda Beauty, Huda Beauty Faux Filter Foundation, but I'm gonna use the shade Custard, which is like a beigey. It's light. It's like beigey olive tan. I'm gonna literally dot that under my eyes. It looks bomb as a concealer, by the way. So if you are thinking about trying it and you're somebody who, again, likes full coverage that doesn't look heavy, and you know how to apply some shit, try like this as like your foundation concealer. So I do like one here and one here, and then don't dip it in. Quick dot, and then one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, and then I'm gonna let that sit, y'all. So yeah, like, like, I don't know about like the friends I could meet who are like me if I'm constantly being like, I don't want to go to those spaces because I'm scared to be judged. I'm scared I'm gonna be too different. Like, I don't know what opportunities, like young me would never have imagined that I would have done sex work for as long as I did. And young me would never imagine that I would talk about it. And I did a podcast for it, and then through that podcast, I got to work with HBO. Like, bitch. And I know like every trans person and their mother is working for HBO now, which is also not true because it's not for everyone. But I know like they were opening their doors to allow more people. But this was like at the beginning of COVID, and I get allergies when I do my makeup, y'all. And I would never imagine I would have done that. Like, been in a writer's room for HBO for like, the show didn't get picked, it didn't air or nothing like that. But like, I was talking to professionals, and like, I've always wanted to be a writer. I don't talk about that, but I always have. And like, here I am, like being put in a position to like actively work on something that like is like, validated as art. And I'm a black trans woman. Like, go off. And like that was from like me being authentically myself. And I think like learning about yourself and learning what you don't like, and then just learning to look at that as like, that's okay, that's what it is, and that's fine, instead of like being like, oh my god, it's so different, it's so this. Like, bitch, take your head out from your ass. Like sometimes we be having our head up our ass. Sometimes I do. I know. I love the smell of my own ass, let me tell you. And I had to be like, oh, take your head out of your ass. Like, what the fuck? Like, dude, it's okay. You know what I mean? So now I'm gonna blend it out, and I like to stamp. Stamping is how you get it to like really like stick, and then you see how it blends in like softly. It's because it's the same formula. Jackie Aina put me onto that when she talked about like application. It's the same formula, so I don't feel like I feel like it doesn't clash as much. So when you blend it, it doesn't necessarily look like the way a concealer would look on top of foundation. It looks more like, like a foundation that's that color with some more coverage. And I like to like drag this inward. I don't like to do it out because my forehead wrinkles easily from all the smiling I do. So I drag it inwards, and then I just blend this up and down the whole nose. Because I guess I do contour, but I don't really do it to make my nose look smaller. I just do it to make it look prominent because I think my nose is pretty. I'm checking if it's still recording, y'all. I can't wait till the day till I have an editor. Until I have an editor, and like y'all are like, remember the day that you used to go behind your phone and look to see if it was recording still? But yeah, so concealer. So yeah, like, I think my gender is like one of the things that like I really need to like do what I want to do and pursue what I want to pursue and really affirm it for myself. so that I'm not blocking my blessings. Like, I'm just tired of like, at a certain point, it is the like society does have an effect on our futures. Very true, especially if you're deeper skinned, especially if you're fat, especially if you're deeper skinned, fat, and trans. Like, society makes things hard, but you can do stuff. Like, you are capable, and for me, I think the biggest like point was being able to tell myself that, and being able to let go of the things that I felt like were holding me back from that. Oh my god, you guys, this is like literally so beautiful. You see that lift? Wow. Sexy. So yeah, like I've been trying to like get my hormone therapy through the VA. If anybody who works for the VA has connections, send them this shit. But I've been trying to get my shit through there, and the doctor missed my appointment, y'all. Like, don't even get me started on veteran care, especially veteran care for trans people. If you want me to talk about that, we definitely can one day. I would not be opposed to it. But like my doctor missed the appointment, and yeah. So I'm trying to do that, but like the pressure to look more feminine and to be more cis passing is always there. And I do feel like there is a lot of gatekeeping in having community to the girls who don't want to look that much cis passing all the time, but are still just as much women as anybody else. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing that I started unpacking um, during the start of the holidays, and I'm really settling with now. And I want to start like doing stuff to like make me feel more comfortable in my gender. Like, I'm gonna go to a dance class, and like not just voguing, but I want to take like ballet. I've always wanted to be a ballerina ever since I was little. I always wanted to dance, and I just never got the opportunity to. And I'm just like, bitch, why the fuck not? Like, why not? Okay, so while my concealer is still wet, I'm gonna go in with my highlighter. I'm gonna use a bronzy cream eyeshadow as my highlighter base, and then put my highlighter over that. So this is Jelly Eye Shimmer from Morphe. I do not buy or support from Morphe. It was a gift, but I'm just letting people know in case they have it and they want to use it. It's in the shade Woe. It looks like that. I don't like Morphe. I'm not gonna go into that. This isn't a why I don't like brands video. But it's pretty. Uh, but and I'm using my fingers so that it stays warmed up and doesn't cake up. That's how you get like skin like finishes. Is you want to use your finger and use as little heavy product as possible. So, um, yeah, I'm unpacking that. And another thing I'm unpacking is like how much of my worth I've tied into my relationships. I'm not talking about sexual relationships. I'm talking about friendships. And for a long time, I just, growing up as a 90s kid, tell me if you can relate in the comments. But like growing up, and see if this kind of just gives me like, it's giving like a bronze. It's not extra shimmery, but it gives like a kind of like a primer base, I feel. Because you see how it's diffusing the look of my pores and everything there. It gives you like a diffused feel. So I do that, and then I put the the highlighter over it, and the highlighter doesn't pick up on any dry patches of skin because I have really dry skin even though the product is wet. So, yeah, my friendships. And growing up a 90s kid, I always watched television shows where the girls always were together, had friends, and like I just wanted that. Like I still do. Like I still dream of having like that cliche 90s friendship, but it's like, we all live in the real world, And bitches ain't shit. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But you know, we live in a real world, and people are real. People are not perfect, and relationships are not what they're expressed to be on TV in any form, whether they're like romantic or not. And yeah, and I really had to like settle with like like how much of you expecting your friends to be these amazing friends is it damaging your friendships? And it was damaging them quite a lot, you guys. It damaged a few. And it damaged them in the sense that I was friends with bitches who did not and still do not deserve to be my friend. And that's fine. Like you can say whatever you want about how I said that. But I feel like a lot more people should realize that about themselves. That like these bitches really you really are not meant to be around them like that because some people really don't give a fuck about themselves. And it's like when you're looking at like all these things that you know they could be and want them to be and are just really wishing they could be, you overshadow all the bullshit that's actually there. Like, bitch, I used to want people to support me and protect me as much as I did them. Like anyone who knows me knows like I am like that friend who if someone's about to fight you at a party, L's having the shoes off and I'm gonna climb on the speaker and I'm gonna fucking suplex that bitch. Like we're gonna turn it up 20 notches. You know what I'm saying? And this highlighter is the Pro Light Fusion undetectable luminizer from Makeup Forever, the gold one. I've had this for like literally almost I think like 3 years now. It's so bomb. You cover up all the bullshit, and I think I was covering up a lot of bullshit. And I'm not saying I'm perfect either. Like you gotta be accountable to yourself. If you're not gonna be accountable to other people, at least be real with yourself and be like, I'm a crazy bitch. And for a period, I was struggling with my health, for my mental health for a long time, and my physical health. I just didn't know for a long time, and I was in spaces with people who didn't have the capacity to even take care of themselves in honest ways, and I was expecting them to like be understanding of me, and when they weren't, I would get like crazy enraged. I would become a monster, like very codependent, very borderline personality vibes, if you know, you know. And and damn, where's my bronzer? I always lose my bronzer every fucking video, and I honestly don't think I'm even gonna use bronzer. To be quite frankly honest, I think I'm gonna just use this. Yeah, I am. Okay, so yeah, like I was really like being like wild and enraged in a lot of my friendships, but I think at the same time, I was existing in these relationships with people who like didn't even understand that they were using me and that they were being very manipulative and they were just like kind of bullies in a sense. Like you ever like live in a house and come back from vacation and realize that everyone in the house has had a conversation about your mental health that they have never had with you to your face, and then decide to have with you when you come back from vacation when they're drunk. Like that shit felt horrible. And shout out to people who are living with roommates who don't understand them and then they all band together and just are like fuck you. But that's neither here nor there. I had a moment. It's okay, little L. But no, yeah, like that shit is hard, but at the same time it's like are they at fault for what they said or how they acted, or am I at fault for expecting them to do something else? Like a fucking mongoose is gonna act like a mongoose, you know what I mean? And a snake is gonna act like a fucking snake, and a horse is gonna act like a fucking horse, and it's like you can't be making people more than what they are, like in your head. You really, really cannot. And if you think that you can, and you really, really try to, you're just gonna end up fucking sad as fuck, and things are just aren't gonna work out for you. I'm gonna go in with this like warm kind of. Oh, there's my bronzer. So I'm using the Makeup Forever. What the fuck is this? Undetectable compact bronzer. Bitch, this shit is fire. I've had this shit for like 8,000 years. I'm gonna like swirl it in. And, I really was making excuses for people. And it's like, if I didn't make excuses for them, I probably wouldn't be getting my feelings hurt by them. So, like, it's not like you have to take the blame, but it's like for me, I had to really be like, oh, you just be out here letting your expectations have people out here on some Emmy Award acting shit. And it's like, bitch, they're not acting. Like, you're just not seeing them for who they are, and you're not being real with yourself. You know? My inner eye highlight that I'm gonna use is gonna be from another ColourPop palette. And it's gonna be, it's called Garden Date. Bitch, look how cute this shit is. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna put it on so it doesn't fucking matter anyways. But, yeah. A, a bitch was expecting a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. And I really want to work on not doing that anymore. It's my eye, so I can do whatever the fuck I want. I don't know if I have any germaphobes out there. People like, ew, but save your judgment for your mom. I'm calling it before I even feel it. I'm gonna pop that on my inner corner. And that is just gonna like open up the, ooh, my god, I'm wet. Just doing that. Yeah, I don't wanna expect things anymore. And like I've just been doing a lot of forgiving of people, and like not forgiving, like forgiving and hoping that I have a different result because no more expecting, but forgiving and being like, bitch, that's who you are, and I accept it, and I still love you, even if you did hurt me, even if you did leave me alone in the dark. I will not be in a position around certain people to need help from them or need things from them. Like I'm really learning to have friends who fit into certain categories and friends who don't. Like, not everybody can be an all-encompassing bad bitch like yourself, you know? And I feel like you really have to just accept people for who they are, and that's part of it. If you expect people to be the best and to be kind and honest, you're not expecting them to be who they are. Like, what if they're not a kind, honest person? What if they are a son of a bitch? You gotta let them be a son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Okay, so now, finally, I'm gonna do my my lips, and we're gonna go. But before that, I'm gonna smoke again. So I'm gonna put on some chapstick because I want my lips to get some moisture. This is the Fresh Sugar Advanced Therapy. I did not buy this. It was a gift. This shit is fucking expensive. It's from Sephora. You do just as well with some jojoba or some castor oil on them things, depending on how dry they are. But I'm gonna light up another joint. Where the frick is my lighter? Oh my god, you guys. I'm real faded off that little bit of weed that I smoked. I really don't know where my lighter is. Oh, there it is. Okay. Gotcha. I'm gonna smoke this one. I have like a lot of big mini roaches. So yeah, I feel like if you're going through it this holiday season and you have this space, unpack some of that shit, like make some more space, get them suitcases out, and really sit with it because the burden is only yours to carry if you choose. I know that's easier said than done for some people. I'm not saying if you can't do it or you're just really in a bad place right now that you should have to, because that's ableist. And I know some people are not physically capable of just being fucking happy or having faith or being hopeful, and I want to make light of that because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, just like do whatever, be happy, blah 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 blah," blah. And it's like, girl, it's if you can just do that, pat yourself on the back, good for you. But like, I have clinical depression. Part of the reason why I don't film videos all the time is because sometimes I'd be in bed for 2 weeks without a shower. I said it. Like, it's scary. There are a lot of people who it's longer than that. It's worse than that. Like, it's harder than that. So I think I'm gonna do for my lips. I'm gonna do this Anastasia. Wait, let me see how my eyes look. One more time. Oh my god, I need a setting spray. Fuck. But yeah, like, that's what I've been doing, y'all. That's what I've been on. This setting spray is the Flower Beauty one, but the bottle is fucking trash, so do not buy it. It's alright. It's really not like anything crazy. I think you're better off getting like the Milani one or the NYX ones. The NYX matte one, even if you're using it over dewy stuff, is good. This one is really dewy, but I like that. I like that. I like that. I like it so much. Okay, so I spray and then I fan that bitch the fuck down. Oh my god, wait, I have an envelope thingy up there. The wind will just, the air just seals it in, y'all, like real good. So yeah, what are y'all doing for the holidays? If you don't have anything to do and you're not alone, or if you are alone and you're in New York, I was posting about it on my story, but I think it's called like Sale for Soup or something, but Miss Boogie is running it. So if you know who Miss Boogie is, she's a rapper. She's a trans rapper. She's lit. And you're in New York, go to her page and check out her story. Because they're having a really cool fundraiser where there's like infused soup, there's gonna be a smoking spot, and it's gonna be fucking lit. So I think you guys should go to that. And yeah, other than that, y'all, I'm actually just really excited for the new year. I haven't been this excited for the new year in a really, 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 really long time. I don't have, like, I'm not dating anyone. I have 2 kitties. I'm in a really nice home. I'm getting better friendships. I let go of a lot of dead weight. And I feel like I'm just setting myself up to like receive a lot of blessings. And I'm excited. I'm going to use the Brown LA Girl Ultimate Eye Intense Stay Auto Eyeliner. I use it on my lips. It's bomb. Get your finger. And this liner will stay, y'all. Like, that's why I use like the eyeliners, like use the eyeliners. And I feel like since they're made for tears, they stay more. There are lip liners that stay, but if you're on a budget, the LA Girl Auto Eyes are bomb. And then I just do. Here. And I go right there. And you can like, if you don't want it to be messy, just drag it down, like that, you see? You can use a brush, but I want like more of like a harsher line on my lips still, and then always make sure you connect that bitch, because you're gonna be looking crazy with your lips floating off your face. And do the other side. I've also been playing Switch. Oh my god! Is anyone playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Because I have some questions. And my first question is, why are y'all such punk ass bitches? And that's to Gen Z. Like, y'all complain about everything. 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 Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is bomb. I have Violet. If you want to be friends, drop your friend code below. That's if you're actually gonna play. Like, I have so many friends on there who never play with anyone. Cause they're just like, oh my god, I have this, I have that. Like, everyone has so much anxiety today, they can't do anything. Coming from a bitch with literally diagnosed generalized anxiety disorder. Like, bitches have so much anxiety they can't do anything. It's like, stop using anxiety as an excuse to like be an accountable human being for everything and anything. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get this lit. Okay, so there's the liner, and I'm gonna use it's Sunscape lip gloss from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's really frosty peachy, but I love it. And I do that. I love like the glittery look. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do top mascara. I don't do bottom because for daytime looks I want it to look more open. And I think for me, when I put it on the bottom, my eyes just look smaller. When I do only the top the Nicki Minaj way, my eyes look bigger. And then I also bend my mascara wand like this. Iris Bailin on YouTube. She does it like that, and I saw her do it, and I was like, it's lit because it helps you get in all the corners without fucking your eye look up. So look, and this is the Maybelline New York Lash Stiletto Cult Classic. Jackie Aina put me on a long time ago. I've been using it forever. Oh my god, I love mascara, y'all. Look at the difference. Boom. Boom. Okay, I'm gonna do this last eye. And so, you guys, I appreciate everyone who comes back to my channel. I appreciate if you made it to the end of the video. And if you skip through to the end, I appreciate that too, because at least you're giving me the clicks. But yeah, I appreciate everyone a lot. If you're having a hard time this holiday, know that a lot of people are, and know that you're not alone. That doesn't make it any better, but just know that like you aren't the only one who's suffering right now, and that maybe you can reach out to someone even if you're scared and be like, hey, can you give me some space, or can I hang out with you, or what are you doing for the holidays? I don't want to be alone. Be vulnerable. Give yourself a chance at having some community, having some happiness. Like, you don't have to be alone all the time. Sometimes it's necessary, but other times, you don't have to do that. So wait, let me get this because I want you guys to see the finished look. So here is the finished look, you guys. Just use the two foundations, and the faux filter foundation from Huda Beauty kind of sets itself, and my face is not taking well to powder lately. So what I'm gonna do is take a dry sponge, like a padded makeup store sponge, and I'm gonna take a little bit of my CoverGirl Clean and Fresh powder. It's so good. You don't even need a lot. And I'm just gonna pop that under my eye, and on my nose, and on my my mustache line. And there you go, you guys. That is the finished look. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will try to upload sooner than later, but like I said, no patterns. Take ye as you get it. I love you guys. I hope you have a great holiday. And yeah, don't drink and drive. Don't drink. You know, if you do, you do. But rather you not. Eat, smoke some weed. Love y'all. Happy holidays. Have a great Christmas. If you celebrate it, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is. I hope you have a great holiday. Bye, y'all. Did I turn it off? Or no?